Okay, picture this. The year is 50 BC. Julius Caesar's legions have pretty much taken over all of Europe. All of Gaul is occupied, well, except for one little village of indomitable Gauls we know and love. But here's the thing, they aren't the only ones. Way down south in Hispania, other pockets of resistance are still defying Rome. Today we are diving deep into Asterix in Spain, the story where these two worlds of defiance crash into each other in one hilarious, epic adventure.
So our story doesn't even start in Gaul. It kicks off on the sun-scorched plains of Hispania. Caesar himself is there, and he's getting really frustrated with this one last Iberian village that just refuses to give up. So, fed up with trying to fight them honorably, he decides to go for a truly low blow to break their spirit. He sends his super slimy envoy, Spurius Poisonous, to do the dirty work. All right, so here's the roadmap for our story today. It all starts with a kidnapping, which gives us a Roman hostage. Then we'll follow our heroes on the dangerous road to Hispania, check out their adventures in Iberia, build up to an incredible showdown in an arena, and then, you know it, we'll wrap it all up with an indomitable feast. The plan? It's as simple as it is cruel. Spurius Poisonous marches right into the village of the Iberian chieftain, a guy named Huevos Y Bacon, and kidnaps his young son, Pépé. The deal is simple. Surrender the village or you'll never see your boy again. And to make sure there's no chance of a rescue, the Romans decide to ship the kid to the most remote place they can think of, a fortified camp way up in Armorica, Gaul. Yeah, but what the Romans find out pretty fast is that capturing an Iberian is one thing, but actually controlling him, that's a whole other story. Pépé is an absolute force of nature. He won't eat their food, he holds his breath until he turns blue whenever he's unhappy, and he uses every single opportunity to cause total chaos. He drives his Roman guards completely insane on that long trip north. And honestly, this quote from one of the Roman centurions just says it all. Pépé is pure Iberian pride in a tiny package, fierce, unbelievably stubborn, and totally untamable. See, he's not a victim here. He is a constant headache-inducing problem for his captors. He's the small, proud symbol of the very resistance that Caesar is trying to crush. And this is where things get really interesting. You've got a Roman patrol hauling their valuable hostage in this big chest through the forest right near our hero's village. All of a sudden, they hear this thunderous crashing sound. It's just Obelix hunting boar. But they panic, think it's some kind of demon, and drop everything and run for their lives. So later, Asterix and Obelix just stumble upon this abandoned chest. As Asterix pries it open, the air just smells of oak and damp earth. And who do they find inside? Not gold, but a scowling, defiant little boy. So after Pépé, with a mix of proud gestures and some pantomime, explains what's happened, the Gauls' code of honor kicks in. There is just no way they can stand for this kind of Roman villainy, especially not against a kid. To them, the choice is simple. They have to take on this long, dangerous journey south to get Pépé back to his dad. And this is the start of an incredible adventure. If you're as excited as I am to see where this journey leads, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our explainers on other classic tales. And so here we go. The second act is off and running. Asterix, Obelix, Dogmatics, and their proud, and let's be honest, often difficult new friend set off for Hispania. The journey itself is an adventure, mostly because of Pépé's stubbornness, like when he refuses to ride in their cart because, quote, a fine Iberian travels on foot. You can just imagine Obelix's growing frustration with a kid who is somehow even more stubborn than he is. And you know, what's so great here is that classic Asterix contrast. On one side, you have our heroes, traveling with purpose and cleverness, navigating by the stars and living off the land. And on the other side, the Roman legions trying to recapture Pépé are a total picture of bureaucratic chaos. They're getting tangled up in their own orders, taking wrong turns, and just constantly getting outsmarted by the Gauls, who always seem to be one step ahead. Okay, time for our second key scene, the arrival. After a pretty rough sea voyage, they finally make it across the Pyrenees Mountains. And the change is immediate. You can practically feel it. The lush green of Gaul just disappears, replaced by the stark, dramatic landscape. The air gets dry, smelling of thyme and sun-baked dust. They run into a caravan of Goths, and then a local guy in a faded crimson cloak who immediately tries to sell them souvenirs. It's official. They have arrived in Hispania. So once they're actually in Hispania, the mission really shifts gears. I mean, they're on friendly soil, technically, but they still have to figure out a culture that is just as proud and unique as their own. They get stuck in traffic jams caused by stubborn bulls. They see the fiery passion of flamenco dancing right in the streets, and they're just constantly amazed by the fierce pride of the people. All of this while Roman patrols are desperately trying to seal the borders to trap them. And so much of the drama and the humor of this whole section really comes down to the clash between these three key players. First, you've got Pépé, our defiant hostage who is not afraid of anything. Then there's his father, Huevos Y Bacon, the tough, stoic leader who really represents the unbreakable spirit of his people. And then, of course, the bad guy, Spurius Poisonous, the snooty Roman aristocrat whose brilliant strategy is being completely torn apart by one small, infuriating child. Along the way, they find shelter in a Spanish village that is basically a mirror image of their own. It's got the same circular layout, the same fierce warrior spirit, and an absolute dedication to resisting the Romans. And this is such a powerful moment of solidarity, right? It shows that the spirit of freedom isn't just in one tiny corner of Gaul. They share a meal, swap stories about their battles, and for a little while, they're just brothers in the same fight. But they are so close. They're just a day's journey from Pépé's village when their luck runs out. A massive Roman force, led by a totally desperate Spurius Poisinosus, finally corners them and captures them. They're disarmed and hauled off to the city of Hispalis to be made into a public example. I mean, the odds are completely stacked against them. If you love seeing our heroes get out of impossible jams, you should definitely hit that subscribe button to follow all our breakdowns of epic showdowns. And that leads us right into the grand climax of the entire story. As some kind of special entertainment for the Roman governor, Asterix is sentenced to face a terrifying beast in the grand arena of Hispalis. Obelix and Pépé are forced to just sit and watch from the stands, totally helpless. Or so it seems. Now, this third key scene, you can just feel it. Imagine the deafening roar of thousands of people. The air is thick with the smell of dust and sweat and nervous energy. And right in the middle of this huge, sun-drenched arena stands Asterix, just this one small figure. The gates swing open, and out charges a massive, snorting aurochs, basically an ancestor of the modern bull, and its eyes are locked right on our Gaul.
So here's the catch. Asterix doesn't have his magic potion. He has to rely purely on his wits. As the beast charges, he dodges, and he notices something. It wasn't charging him, it was charging the red cape he'd been given. A light bulb just goes on in his head. As this quote shows, he realizes, wait a minute, I can control this thing. Using the cape, he leads the aurochs on this dizzying dance, just dodging and weaving with incredible skill. And to the complete shock of the crowd, he basically invents the art of bullfighting on the spot. In all the chaos that follows, Asterix doesn't just beat the aurochs, he humiliates it, eventually calming the beast down and getting a thunderous "Olé!" from the entire crowd. Meanwhile, Obelix starts a riot in the stands, giving them the perfect cover to escape. So what's the final score? 1 very confused aurochs, 1 disgraced Roman governor, and 0 harmed Gauls. It's a total victory, won with brains, not just brawn.
With the Romans of Hispalis in total disarray, our heroes manage to slip away and make one final dash for the mountains. The last leg of their journey is totally clear, and they are finally on their way to reunite a son with his father. And this brings us to the quick, super satisfying ending. Pépé is returned to his father, Huevos Y Bacon, and it's this really emotional reunion. The grateful Iberians offer them sanctuary, riches, everything, but the Gauls politely say no, they're just eager to get back home. So they make this triumphant journey all the way back to Armorica, knowing they forged a powerful new alliance and struck another huge blow against Caesar. And of course, you know it's not an Asterix adventure without this celebratory feast. Back under the stars, the whole village gets together to hear the story and celebrate their hero's return with, you guessed it, mountains of roasted boar. As Chief Vital Statistics makes his classic declaration, it's just the perfect ending that celebrates community, friendship, and freedom. Hey, if you enjoyed this trip to Hispania, show us some love by hitting that like button and subscribe so you can join us for the next adventure. You know, this story of defiance and cross-cultural friendship is such a great reminder that the spirit of resistance can be found anywhere, from the misty forests of Gaul to the sunny hills of Spain. It's really a testament to the idea that even the smallest person can stand up to the greatest power, which leaves us with a thrilling question. With the Roman Empire still so vast and so full of arrogant officials, where will adventure take these indomitable Gauls next?